If I'm a 7.5, like what could stop me? Like what's holding me back from being a 9? I think it's the being a little less present in some of my conversations, and I think that's also due to a little bit of a lack of sleep. That's due to a little bit of some form of stress going on that I just need to figure out. So it's like everything kind of comes full circle.
Yeah, everything plays a part in something.
Right. So it's identify the thing that you've got the most control over, find like that lowest hanging fruit, and just try to attack it. Don't just be passive around it letting take care, like control you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling this to myself.
Cause they thought I'd never make it. See me fall down and they celebrate it. Learn how to win with no demonstration. How about the cool got a ventilated? Cause I can't see shit out on 95. Prolific little bitch, I see dollar signs. The shit I done seen got me traumatized. Tryna clear all the pain in my mama's eyes. And my daughter, she watching me closely. Tryna better myself like I should be. Had to chill out with all of that street shit. I came a long way, but don't push me. Rest in peace to my bro, it ain't right, dawg. 20 bands, nothing that's light sauce. Hit the booth and I turn all the lights off. Gotta get in my zone. Gotta turn on my phone, cause all them smiles is fake and I see it. Bad guy, if I got it, I'll be it. Baptized, but I'm living with demons. Trap vibes, so I'm cashing out Neiman's. No face, swear these bitches is heathens, but I don't need them though. Keep my moves quiet, you don't need them.
Welcome.
Episode number 41, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Prolific Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Berto, checking in.
And you're the host, Will, here.
Ill Will. We haven't called you that in a while.
Ill Willy.
Ill Will. Welcome to Prolific Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for always tuning in. This is episode number 41.
41.
What is it that we always do here?
What?
What is it that we always do here?
We're always just a vibe. I don't know.
We're a vibe, but we always have great guests, right?
Oh, of course.
Of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our next guest for our episode number 41. This man is health and wellness coach, fitness coach here in Miami, originally from the Windy City of Chicago. I was just told that he was born there, but he was raised in the suburbs.
Yeah, you have to apparently declare that. Or
that's something in, I guess, Chicago.
Chief Keef comes after you. Comes to you in your sleep.
Oh, man. This man is also another fellow mental health advocate. Young man, 28-year-old phenom. If you guys can't see him in person, if you guys are listening in, this guy's arms is probably the size of both me and Will put together. So
Young Thor.
Oh, shit. Low key. Young Thor.
Young Thorski.
But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who we're talking about, this 28-year-old phenom, let's give a warm, prolific welcome to our guy, Jakub Sizz.
Hey.
Did I get it? Yes.
Good shit.
So Jakub, I know you're about to have like 13 protein shakes, but we're going to do a little toasty with the water.
Even if
just
it's water.
Just to get it going here. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you for having me.
Don't be nervous. It's just camera.
It's not water, that's vodka.
Oh, man. But let's check in. Well, it's a beautiful day. We haven't done a little mental health check.
Yes.
It's actually, for the people that are listening, June is actually Men's Mental Health Month. We haven't done a check-in this month. So how you feel? Where you at?
I'm good, bro. I'm really good.
You don't sound it. I need a little bit more energy, Willie.
Sorry.
There's live TV.
That one kind of like stung a little bit. Not live TV, right? No, I'm doing good, bro. I feel good.
1 to 10.
1 to 10. After the Marco Island trip, I feel amazing, bro.
Hey.
Probably like I'm like an 8.5. I like to stay around 8.5.
Asshole, man. You never.
I like to stay 8.5 because it's like, you know.
He gave us like, God damn. Like.
Now, if you were asked that same question prior to your Marco trip, where would you be?
8.5. No.
He's like 8.4.
It's like, I just got shot. I'm an 8.5. Nah, I was an 8.5 before that, but I was like a 7.5 the last time before I went to Marco Island. And I just had an amazing trip over there.
That's good. You want to share a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I did, I'm not gonna say it. I did some psilocybin, over there, and it was something that I really, really needed because I was really going through just some mental fog and just not good clarity. Was just kind of like getting worked up over stupid shit, and I was like, you know what, I need to take the day. Drove over to Marco Island and did some psilocybin on the beach. Beautiful day. Watched the sunset across the water, which we don't get to see because we get the sunrise. And it was an amazing trip.
Nice.
And came back just feeling like
That's beautiful, man.
Sometimes
Thank you for sharing.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
How you feeling, Jacob? 1 to 10 overall, emotional, mentally, physically. Obviously, you're like a 15. Yeah. So how you feeling as a little check-in, mental health check-in?
Mental health check-in, I'd put myself at like a 7.5 right now.
7.5?
Yeah, being completely honest.
He's coming at me for the 8.5. So.
I know. I'm like,
I feel the 8.5. I'm like, I'm not there right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not at the 8.5 right now.
All right. What would get you to the 8.5?
Oh man.
And don't say muscle milk, please. Because I don't have any.
he's like, actually,
whole milk.
you guys are holding me up for
brought to you
myself.
by.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have something, you definitely shout it out.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No. I mean, sleep would be number one.
Lacking sleep lately?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little,
Welcome to Miami.
not for those reasons. not for those reasons. I mean, I've been getting a lot better at journaling before bed to help my mind just relax. And that usually kind of, get to bed while I'm sleeping, get a much deeper sleep. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night, wake up the next morning, energy's up, not feeling exhausted or like feeling of tired after getting my 8 hours or 7.5. But lately, just those little pre-bedtime rituals and not having them implemented, like I noticed a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's stopping you from the bedtime rituals?
Up a little later than usual due to just on a phone call with a friend. Next thing you know, it's like
2-3 hours ago.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Fuck. All right. I'm gonna
All right, kid, I love you, but
put this to the side and then just got to go to bed and go.
Yeah.
And then mine's still
Going.
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah.
I feel you on that. How about you, Chief? Everyone's Chief here.
Yeah. I'm at a 9.
Okay.
Love that.
I'm at a 9.
Okay.
We talked about it before. It's just gratitude, right? That's waking up to the prayer talk. Shout out to Chris.
Yay. Have you been doing it?
I haven't. I started to right after the episode.
I know, because I noticed a difference in you.
Yeah, I started to, but again, I'm also the same thing. I have a lot of anxiety. I'm constantly waking up in the middle of the night. I never get more than like 5 hours of sleep. So the fact that I look this great at 36 is a blessing, but I'm really fucking tired. But yeah, I mean, rest. I haven't been resting lately, but overall, just as a whole, right? Like family, friends, podcasts, everything is good right now. I can't complain. I'm not a 10, but 9. Not a 7.
Yeah, I mean, we had that discussion before, but I feel like getting to 10, you've reached like a state of consciousness that you just know that like you don't need anything to be happy. You're just good.
You're just fulfilled in every way, shape, or form.
And something interesting you mentioned too was, and I've continued to work on this, is just being grateful for all the other components of life, like your social environment, family, your friends, your health. Like that's just as important to take into consideration, I think.
Yeah, and it really brings us back to, what's really important, right? Take away the money, take away the finances, like what's really important. For me, I'm very big. I have 2 daughters. I have twin daughters that are 17. So, we're always going to have issues with bills and careers and all those things. But when you go to bed at night, like I have a roof over my head, I own my house. I have my wife. I have my kids. They're healthy. We're all walking. We're all breathing. The necessities that we need, they're all there. Yep. So why should I not be anything under than a 9? Me personally, that's just the way I see it, right? So that's what we do, like a little check-in, because I think it's good to talk about that, especially since we're in the mental health space, because we all want to be at a 10, but a lot of us usually say 6 or 7, and
it's mostly like material shit. And
it's mostly things that we get into our own heads about. So when you take away all that stuff, you should be, and we want to get you there as much as we can. So, and
just off like you said too, as far as like the relationships and stuff like that, like I know like moving to Miami, like we were just talking offline, it's like could be a culture shock. You know what I mean? The fact that you were able to kind of get like pulled into like that family of like trainers and stuff like that. I would say, I'm not gonna say lucky because I don't know the transition that you had, but I feel like that's like a blessing for you. You know what I mean? That you were blessed to be able to have like that family when you got here. Granted, I don't know if that's how.
I mean, it helps because you also relocated recently, but you didn't come in here with something specific. I feel like actually
I came here with nothing.
Came here with nothing, still got nothing.
Yeah.
But no, we'll get into it because that's actually how I wanted to open up and a little bit about your journey. And I mean, you've done a lot from what I've seen. Swimming, a little bit of football, obviously now in the weight room. So Jake, I mean, take us a little bit about your journey. You just relocated here from Chicago. So like Will was mentioning, what he was alluding to now is like it's a big culture shock coming to Miami from Chicago. But you've been able, like we talked offline, to kind of get the ball rolling a lot smoother than anybody that would just come in cold turkey.
Just fucking.
So what made you come into that into the journey of the fitness world, and what made you transition into Miami? I mean, besides Miami.
I mean, fitness here is like cranked up times 100 compared to Chicago. No doubt about that. And I mean, of course, that the weather has to play a role because of that. But I mean, going into my journey, man, just start from the beginning.
Who's Jacob?
Who is Jacob?
Shalak.
Jacob Shalak. I mean, if we're gonna say it all in Polish, it's Jakub Shalak.
Jakub. And I saw it too because you spell it with a K. Jakub. Very unique.
There you go.
Americans call it Jakub Sizz.
Yeah. We'll call you Jakub. I'm prolific.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jakub. Yeah, that's your name, right?
Let's do it.
Jakub.
Something not many people know is my nickname, Sizz, as in Sizzlack, started in the 3rd grade. Shout out to my buddy Dev, still my day one.
Hey.
And that's where are we going with this? Where did my fitness journey start? I'd say if there was a specific memory, it'd be in middle school. It was in 7th grade. Like in middle school, you'd have like gym class, but it'd be a combination of like dodgeball, running around the school perimeter,
Shooting a
playing tag,
all that in 30
basketball.
minutes.
All that in 30 minutes.
And then go back to class sweaty.
Sweaty as hell.
Sweaty as hell. No one was taking a shower.
Nah,
It's
not at
all-
all.
Hell no.
There's no showers in middle school. Like,
I mean, my school didn't, but
We had them, but no one was using them.
yeah.
There was a day where we were doing more like bodyweight exercises, and the gym teacher was taking us through, bodyweight squats, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups for those people that can do them, some agility drills, and I just remember specifically there being we're just doing a crunch. Repped out some crunches, and I stand up, I'm like, what? What is this?
what is that in my? I feel like I got a shield on.
I literally felt like I had a shield on. I go up to my teacher. I'm like, what is this? They're like, those are your abs. Like, that's what happens when you exercise. Like, you feel that burning sensation. Like, that is, there's processes that's how you're going to start building muscle. I was like, muscle.
How do you spell muscle?
And the rest is history. Here we are.
Now, were you like a scrawny kid back in the day, or
I wouldn't say I was scrawny. I was skinny
Average.
fat, unathletic. I was always a taller kid. I was actually thinking about that on the way here. Like in 8th grade, I started playing football, and there were the teams were broken down into weight brackets, like age brackets, but also like going by your weight.
Yeah.
And the biggest weight class was, I think, 170 pounds and above, and I was over that. I think I was like 185
in 8th grade?
In 8th grade, Jesus Christ, that's massive.
I think I was 85.
I would not want to fight you, bro. Like, I would not want to fight you in 8th grade if you were
just like a
185.
big, unathletic.
Yeah,
uncoordinated
kind of like a
kid.
fucking what's this guy from Jokic?
Essentially,
Yeah, right. Because he's like what, like 7 something, but
Yeah,
he's
but
not
he-
athletic.
yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
just
look.
a-
He doesn't have
Wait,
a
who?
big.
Jokic
from
the Nuggets.
The Nuggets that just won
Yeah.
the. He's not. He doesn't look athletic.
Nah, he's just a.
But he's
just a.
he's just like
fucking
a
dude.
big
He's a
like.
big
Would you
fucking-
say that's comparable? Like that?
No, he's athletic. I'd consider
Yeah.
him to be athletic for sure.
But I mean, build wise.
What is an athletic build?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to be DK Metcalf shredded to be?
No, you don't. But overall, like muscle definition. Obviously, I would think my first answer would be like some type of muscle definition. Like you can tell us standing next to an NBA athlete. Like this, it's a different build, right?
For sure.
Football player. We've had Ricardo Lewis here, who was an ex-NFL player. Like you could tell the difference in the build. So that's why I say like Jokic doesn't look to me. Besides his height,
he moves well for a dude that big. He's just not like he's not fucking crossing dudes up and stuff like that. That's different. I know what you mean, but then I also know what you mean. You don't have to be a shredded brolic dude to be athletic.
Yeah.
It's all about like mobility and be able to to maneuver. He's just a big ass dude that just knows how to shoot, and he won the championship. So fucking.
I mean, no, he's
Shout out to
honestly
the
he's
Nuggets,
one of the greatest players right now.
Hats
in the NBA.
off.
That's hats off to him. But
that was kind of my mentality going into it. Because again, like 8th grade, started playing football, and then going into high school, I took that approach of getting as big and as shredded as I could have been.
That's possible.
My first program I was on was I think it was 6 discs of P90X. I was just 3 months.
I remember that shit.
That and just
what was it? Taibo was the other one. What was the?
Yeah, Taibo was one of
I don't know if he
them.
was too young for that. You remember that?
Yeah,
the ball dude.
But P90X was that guy.
I remember.
Had movement.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember
was pissed that
I remember we couldn't afford it.
I couldn't afford it. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't. My parents are like, I'm not buying that shit. I'm like, Mom, it's only 4 easy payments of $29.99.
Like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
it was my neighbor that, what's the term? Burned the discs.
Yeah. That was a good era.
Those are the days, man.
That was a good era.
He burned me some discs. Gave him $10 and.
Hey, fuck it. So you started off with P90?
Started off with P90, and again, like back then, with even in high school, like our strength conditioning program, like it's not what it is now with high school, college. I don't know what professional level is, but their strength conditioning programs are, from what I know now, totally different from what they were back then.
Yeah, back in the day, it was just like try and bench 45 pounds. You're just like, I can't. Well, me.
Try and squat, try and deadlift, try to perform like these basic compound movements as heavy as you can go for the first 10 minutes, and then we're going to do skill drills and try to make you puke outside, which doesn't really get more athletic.
Doesn't do it. And that's why people are so discouraged when it comes to working out and lifting weights. I feel like it goes back to that, like the foundation that people build early on about like what weightlifting really is. It's not what it is. You know, everybody's like, yeah, just lift heavy and do this. And then everybody gets injured in the first week or two and then they hate it after that. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's where trainers come in. And that's, I want to get into that on like what your approach is and what your techniques are and how you plan to change the game, when it comes to the personal fitness industry. But we can go back to, I think you were finishing off. Where were you finishing off with that?
Well, with P90X?
No, I think, but going into the journey and all that, you said you were transitioning into 8th grade. You were like, you asked if you were like.
Yeah, I already answered. I just asked if he was like a scrawny kid when.
Okay.
He like wanted to get big.
I was like skinny fat. And I mean, at the time too, like I was using the internet to find out like what are the best ways to get big. And of course there were like workout programs, but honestly, I think I forgot what it was. I think it was on a website called T Nation, and it was really just an article around like eating enough food. And it was that one article that really resonated with me. And honestly, from when I was 13 to my last day of playing college football, I'm 20 years old, in my like junior year, like the only goal was to get as big and as strong and as fast as humanly possible. So it was just eat and eat and eat and train and train and train.
Now, is there anything that led you to that made you want to be the biggest, fastest person? Like, were you, I don't know, like, were you ever like bullied or something that led you to want to be that?
Great question.
That's all we do here.
That's bully.
No. That was a good comeback.
I mean, for a little bit, like the reason I think that's a good question was because actually in elementary school, I was a bit of a bully myself.
Really?
I had a pretty big come to Jesus moment with my principal at the time I forgot it was a very prompting question around essentially like, how would it feel if someone like made fun of you around something around that you're very insecure about? And it made me, look at it from a different lens and kind of change my perspective. And I mean, yeah, going into high school and even when I was just playing football again, being uncoordinated and slow and not a starter was
the driving force.
The biggest driving force for sure.
Do you think you were acting out when you were bullying? Like for something specific? Like do you feel like you were acting out or you were just being like a kid being a little asshole?
I think I was just a kid being a little asshole. Found it funny. Everyone else laughed. Sometimes the person who bullied me and I bullied him back, like we'd laugh, but there's times where just we take it too far.
Yeah. But what age was that around?
8th grade, you said, right?
This was more even before that. Like I was like late elementary school, early middle school, so like what, 9, 10?
Yeah, 9, 10. Which is crazy because that's the age that I had my little bullying phase. Yeah, and I didn't. This is how stupid it was, right? So I mean, I'm very different, probably as far as like growing up wise, like my environment. I didn't know what bullying was, as stupid as it sounds, right? Because I didn't go to great schools and all that. I went to public schools and all that shit. But I didn't know what it was. So when I found out and I was aware of what it was, I was in middle school and I was like, fuck, I felt so bad. Especially, like, I still remember the kid's name to this day. I'm not gonna say it. I found him on Facebook, and I was literally gonna apologize. I'm like, yo, I'm 36. Like, this is 30 years later, and I'm like,
you never know.
I never know, but same. Going back to this question, like, my thing was like, I just thought it was normal. Like, oh yeah, let me just like pick on this little kid, and like, but the fucking kid would cry and shit, and like, and one day his mom came to the school, like, who's bullying my kid? I'm like, I'll beat your ass too, like, to the mom. But when I finally realized, like, oh fuck, like, this is not right, I was like, damn, like, that was just stupid, right? So I feel like it could just be a phase. I feel like it happens a lot, especially with us men. We're very what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just like guys are very different than girls growing up. We're a lot more curious. We do a lot more dumb shit early on to try to prove ourselves to either our environment, our friends, or just our surroundings. So
you better hit him up, bro. What's the movie?
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Like Billy Madison.
I know the
like
guy's name, man. I know the guy's name, and I feel so bad, like, because I'm not that guy, like, but in that time frame, I was like, fuck, this is like weird. Like, the kid would cry. I never took his lunch money or anything. I would just hurt him, honestly.
Did you ever see the movie I think it's Billy Madison.
Yeah, with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, where he like calls up the guy. He's like, "Hey man, I know I used to pick on you when you were a kid," and he's like, "Hey man, no, it's no worries." But he has like a kill list, and he's on it. He just like crosses himself out.
Yeah, man. So
hit that guy up, bro.
I'm glad you shared that, man. I appreciate you sharing that, because honestly, a lot of people don't like talking about that. Sometimes it's like kind of sensitive, and it's like, I don't want to be known as that guy, but it's in your past. You're better than that, obviously now, and
100%.
And it's just, again, it's just a phase, right? We're all trying to figure it out when we're kids, and still now. So
I was 9 years old.
Yeah. Like,
you never know, man. Some people hold grudges, but just going off of that, a question that I had for you, like apart from fitness, right? You know, you want to be the biggest, the fastest, the baddest Thor there ever was. What is your purpose besides that?
What is my purpose besides just in
the fitness industry? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, great question. I've actually been asked that a few times within like the last few weeks here. Kind of like the
welcome to Miami. It's kind of like they check you, like, oh, what are you doing here? What do you want? And can I be part of it? I'm investing. You know, like, this is it's a little bit of a business move at the end of the day.
Let's connect.
I mean, coming down to Miami was definitely much so like just starting something fresh, starting something new. Like, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, wanted to get out before
it was too late.
Before, I heard that one too many times.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
And I was ready to just flip the switch and get it done, and I'm glad I did it. But in terms of kind of my purpose here, with just like being in the fitness industry in general, I think I'd lean more towards, kind of a stance on the fitness industry being very, I don't want to use the word unregulated, but it's almost like unregulated. There's not a set expectation for, like, there's not a set standard that we should be holding personal trainers accountable for. Like, in just terms of like your education, like where you start, and like giving you the right platform and education to be a successful trainer, and also doing it in a good, moral, ethical way. Of course, like staying within your scope of practice, and at the end of the day, doing it because you generally want to help someone. You want to help change lives, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're able to improve someone's blood pressure, improve their body composition, waist to hip ratio, VO2 max, whatever it is, like, that's literally adding on years onto someone's life. That's literally changing their ability to do the things they do on a normal day
before they get the physical appearance that they want.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most trainers in Miami just like want to sleep with women. It's just like, I just want to get women.
Yeah,
the ones I've met, just my experience seeing them.
So I mean, and to go off that a little bit, not the sleeping with women part, but going off the
Let's touch on that.
going on the just the purpose around. For me, it's kind of collaborating with like-minded individuals in the fitness industry and being able to network and try to
build your brand.
Yeah, build my brand and help them build their brand. Kind of create this, I don't know, like worldwide community. Like, set expectations with like well-known people in the industry, in like the Midwest, in Miami, because Miami is its own country, in the Northeast, really in the West.
Yeah, I feel like the fitness industry too in Miami here is very collaborative. Like, I feel like people that are in that, like, they build like that family. Like you were saying earlier, like Equinox, like you guys built somewhat of a family. I feel like
Right.
they do like Thanksgiving and shit together and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but even it goes even past like personal trainers. It's even like collaborating with physical therapists.
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot in the industry of health and wellness, like personal training is only a component of that, and there are things that are outside of our scope of practice. From collaborating with nutritionists to physical therapists to doctors. That was a big thing for me when I was in Chicago, and when I first got down here in Miami, I was asking around and asking like, who do you go refer your clients out to? Like, who are your physical therapists around here that you trust and recommend to bring people to? And once I got that list, like I made an effort to go and see them, have them take me through their assessments to see like, are their values and like what they do align with what I would, right? Because the big thing about me, like, and I take pride in this, will never give you a bad recommendation.
That's good though, because that makes you a lot more credible. Also,
and that's exactly that's your name behind it too. Is, even if you're referring somebody else, but you're the referral of the referral. Do you think mindset can determine like your gains? Essentially, like you could work your ass off, but if you're mentally not like doing well, do you think that can hinder?
I think mindset determines everything. Kind of looking at like this, I've talked about it in the past, like kind of give the explanation around like the myth around like hearing someone say like, oh, it's because of my genetics that I like can't lose this weight. And not to, throw anyone under the bus or like.
It's Berto, just say it. It's fine. He says that
not one person, but just like group. Like there is, if you, for that individual who's always been, let's say, like the fat kid, right? They identify as being the fat kid from when they were growing up in middle school, high school, and college, and now they're in a position of like, they're still overweight, but now there's more health complications. They're, depending on like the approach they take and the social environment they have, the mental just thought around like who they are. Like if there's an approach of like, hey, I can change and be this totally different individual who's not overweight and is healthy and isn't just like, let's say just like the funny fat guy in the group. That's possible. But then it is also possible just to be known as like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to change, but maybe I can't change. And when you say things like can't or don't or won't or just have a very what's the
like you already have your mind made up.
Just close-minded, yeah.
Berto says that about calves. He
come on.
As I mentioned, I'll still dunk on your ass. It's fine.
It's not gonna happen, but okay.
Like it doesn't. Yeah, my calves haven't grown, but it's not a mindset. I'm very focused and determined on doing calves. I just don't know what else to fucking do because I'm over here like lifting.
Inject them.
Nah.
Or ask him.
All natural, man. We'll talk after.
We'll talk more.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Jakub.
Let me ask you, Jake. Going back to what you were stating there. Like we can all agree that the fitness industry, especially Miami, is very saturated, right? One question I have for you, because again, we also want to make sure that we let the listeners know, what you're doing on your end to, hopefully bring more business to you, either on the side or through Equinox. But what's something that, what are some approaches that you take? What are some philosophies that you follow that you've seen, with either results for yourself or people that you're training that you've taken with clients?
Could you repeat that question?
Yeah. What are some philosophies that you take, and your approach, when it comes to training someone, what is it that you look for to really give them that service and so part of your brand, since you want to change the game with that?
I think the biggest thing for me that's helped me be successful thus far is always just really being genuinely interested in hearing about like your story and the individual's goal. And then after that, like taking them through a very comprehensive assessment that gives me a good idea of just not just kind of the data points around like body fat and blood pressure, but also diving a little bit deeper into their lifestyle from like how they train, do they train, how do they train, their thoughts on what they eat, how they sleep, stress, how they handle stress, like all those really big important components that kind of helps me put the bigger picture together
and understand their lifestyle
right? Because again, there is at some capacity, sometimes a resistance to change.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna actually say, like, how do you deal with that when people just like, you're telling them what they need to do, but it's just like
I don't tell anyone what they need to do. I think that's
you give them the plan of what they should be doing.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to like putting the presentation together. It's, we had a really great conversation. Like you opened up about some things around your nutrition and your lifestyle. We took these data points and like based off what we're seeing, based on what you're telling me, like this is where you are right now. Here's a recommended program that I have, based off like the duration, certain benchmarks we're going to set for yourself, we're going to set for you, or I recommend setting, some skills and practices around your lifestyle to help curate some good habits to add into your toolbox, so that, this is something that you're not going to, I'm not going to be like, in 4 weeks, we're going to lose 40 pounds, right? That's
unrealistic.
That's unrealistic.
And unhealthy.
Yeah. And unhealthy. It's like, this may very well take a year, but even after this year, when you do lose these 40 pounds, like, I hope that you take away some very key component habits in both your movement, your nutrition, and your kind of just regeneration, like sleep and stress management, that you could take on 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. And then going after that, if we talk a little bit about the philosophy of like my training style, very big compound movement guy, having a sports background, I still very much believe that, at any age you are, there should be some form of plyometric exercise.
Yep.
Now, want to make sure that people don't take that out of context and, you think I'm putting like my 55-year-old client through like a 60-inch box jump. Like, no, I don't mean that at all. There's
he's like, give me 37 burpees right now.
Absolutely not. There are levels to plyometrics, just like there are levels to anything else. And it's important to understand, again, taking you through an assessment, like what's the appropriate dosage that we're going to take you through for this training program, so that you feel better, you move better, you look better, and just overall, like, feel freaking great.
And all that trickles down, right? Because I feel like, one thing that we have in common, with the people that we've had on, and from doctors to therapists, and now with the physical space, like, I think it all comes down to a lot of things, like you said: stress management, sleep, your community, who do you go to, like when you're down, who's your motivation, who's part of your circle, right? Like, I feel like that all plays a part in just the health space in general. Because like Will said earlier, like, do you think your mindset affects that? Absolutely. Because it's part of everything else you need just to get to your goals as a whole. Now, when it comes down to your training, what do you think are some common mistakes that you see in people, when they want to achieve these goals and, they want to achieve 1,000 things, but what are some of those common mistakes or pitfalls that you see from people?
It's when they take everything and the kitchen sink and just day one, week one, like, you just put yourself in the hole.
Yeah, because they want the instant gratification.
Yeah. And again, it's that, and just maybe just not knowing any better.
Yeah.
Just, again, kind of maybe following something or reading something that could be a little bit misleading, unfortunately. So I think that's the biggest pitfall. It's like the minimal effective dose is a lot less than you think. And even just if I was just throwing out general health recommendations that are just very much so backed by science here, it's even allowing yourself to get at least 2 resistance training days in, like strength focused resistance. And I'm not talking like, going for like a heavy 5x5, but if,
I would explain that to the people that don't know.
If
like resistance training or like a 5x5.
Right. If like exactly. So resistance training would be anything where you'd be holding in external weight and fighting against that external weight, still being able to, and still completing a full repetition. So let's say you've got a dumbbell, you're in a goblet position, and you're squatting with that dumbbell. That is resistance that you are fighting against, that your muscles are.
Whether it's heavy or light, it's still resistance against your body weight.
Right. Now, with that, I also want to dive into making sure that you're not going too easy on yourself.
Like a 5-pounder.
Right.
Goblet.
Right. If, challenge yourself. Like, it's kind of the example of like, hey, if you were able to do this 10 times, and I kind of give the question around like, how many more reps do you think you would have gotten? Like, I don't know, like 20, 30. It's like, all right, well, maybe you need to go a little bit heavier. Like, give yourself that bit of a challenge. And even if you don't feel confident with doing that week 1, try doing it week 2. Sure. Start with the 5. Next week, grab the 10. Weekend after, grab the 15. Like, give yourself, try that little bit of progressive overload, because it's really gonna go a long way.
Now, do you see a reoccurring pattern, like in just male clients, like anything that's affecting your male clients?
Yeah, if I don't have 225 on the bench,
I'm a pussy. Yeah.
Or I need at least a 45. Right? Yeah. Put a 45 on there, and they're over like their form is terrible. Like they're over there like opening up like this.
Yeah, that's
245.
Yeah.
225.
225.
225 on the bar, or having 45-pound plates. Yeah, it's I have to be lifting heavy, or else I'm not going to get strong. Or I need to be lifting heavy every single day, 7 days a week, or else I'm going to all of a sudden lose, this 100 pounds of lean muscle mass that I put on throughout the accumulation of, however many years that they've been training.
COVID.
Now let me ask you, because obviously, for people that are listening in and they can't see us here when we put it up on YouTube, you're what, about 6'1", 6'2"? 6'3"?
Like a good day.
About 6'3", 220, 30, 40? 240. Okay, so I've heard and seen both sides of the spectrum.
But who's counting?
The what?
But
he's like 243.7. But yeah,
he's like squatting 1,000 over here. Nothing crazy. But so let me ask you a question. And this is something for like viewers, because I know a lot of people are curious, and there's so many videos out there that people try to train themselves, through YouTube and all these programs that they have on apps now. Now, again, you're 240, 6'3". You're very lean, right? Because I'm 220, but I don't look like that. So for the people that are listening and the people that are watching, what would you recommend, for somebody that does want to put in that muscle, right? They want to have that physique, that, chiseled arms, maybe not a 6-pack, maybe a little 2-pack, right? But nice chest and just nice definition overall. I've seen people that have told me, hey, go ahead and whatever you lift, everything you lift, go up in weight, go shoot 10 to 12, right? Everybody's body is completely different. I've been on both sides of the spectrum where I've done the low weight, high repetition, and I've seen like cut, but then I've lifted heavy. I don't see anything, but I'm stronger. But I look like shit. Like honestly, I don't have any type of definition. So do you take a different approach when it comes to that? What are your thoughts on that style of training in today's age? Being that you look a certain way, so something's obviously working for you.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, you made a good point. Like for the
Jacob, that's all we do here.
God damn it.
You
guys are doing great. Let me take a sip of water.
Vodka soda.
For those, like you mentioned, those listeners that aren't watching this, I'm going to try to
try to paint the picture as much as you can.
Paint the picture the best I can. Think of like one big sphere, and then the sphere, you've got this foundation that's creating this pyramid, and this sphere is consistency, right? Consistency is the name of the game. No matter how you put it. Like you can be training 7 days a week, but then if you take 7 days off, like
you just lost the other 7.
You just lost it. Right. That's me.
Unfortunately.
So let's zoom in on the consistency, right? Inside the bubble, we've got the pyramid. The first piece of that pyramid is going to be some form of recovery. So taking advantage of, like, aim for at least that 7 hours of sleep. For those individuals who say, I'm good on 6 or 5, no, you're not.
Sorry. Let's go ahead and wrap this up so I can get some sleep tonight.
That 7 hours of sleep is going to be critical, especially just from like everything that's happening in your body when you're getting that deep sleep. From a mental perspective, from a physical perspective. Like that's literally the time when your muscles are, you're giving your body a chance to grow and adapt. The next piece of that, I'd say, is going to be the nutrition. All right. So we're talking about like basics, aiming for protein in your diet, right? However many meals you're eating.
What would you recommend? Like
not double your meals. Don't double your meals. As far as like frequency of meals, again, everyone's got a different lifestyle. Everyone's got
jobs and family.
I'm single. I don't have a wife and 2 kids, right? So
congratulations.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
He's like, just to put that out there.
But again, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about in like the assessment, right? It's like, what does your lifestyle look like? Because I'm gonna tell a mom of 2 who just had a newborn, like, yo, I need to be on like a 5-day meal or 5 meals a day plan, eating X, Y, and Z, getting this much sleep. Like that's, I'm setting you up for failure.
Yeah.
That's not on me to make that decision for you, to tell you what to do. Like, let's find out what you feel most comfortable with. Kind of went on a tangent there, but nutrition. So it's sleep, recovery, kind of stress management. Second thing would be nutrition. So I'd say focus on getting protein in all of your meals. However many meals you're having, 2, 3, 4, 5, try to get a serving of protein. If I was to give you a visual representation, put your hand up, get a nice palm-sized serving of protein into that meal.
Oh, okay.
If you're a dude, if you're trying to work on body composition, double that.
Yeah.
Get more protein into your diet. Having more protein does not hurt. It is only going to help your body composition.
Okay. So there's no such thing as having too much protein.
No.
Okay.
Now, how do you think, like, calorie-wise? Do you do, like, X amount of calories a day? Like, if someone wants to put on muscle?
Yeah. No, I mean, in terms of you want to give your body the ability to grow and adapt, being in a slight caloric surplus has its benefit because you're giving your body a little bit more energy than it needs. And also, especially if that energy is coming from things like fats and carbs, but again, definitely protein, like you're going to be putting yourself in a situation to help you improve the amount of muscle mass that you're trying to put on.
So what do you attest? Like you said you went from like 180 or 170 to 240. Like what do you contribute that to?
Disclaimer:
He's like
everything.
HGH.
No, I would not recommend most of the things that I tried, like not diets, but calorie intake fads.
You know, like ketos and shit like that.
No, fuck keto. Sorry, all diets are great.
Yeah. Not your preference. Not your preference.
Just not my preference. Because again, like all these certain diets, there is an elimination of a food group. If you're eliminating a food group, that means there are X amount of calories that I need to find from somewhere else. When my goal is to get as big as humanly possible, I want to have the ability to eat anything and everything that I can. So working with specific diets that eliminated certain food groups just was not my thing. And knock on wood, very grateful that I don't have any dietary restrictions or allergic reactions, things like that to food.
But what about what do you contribute your transition from 180 to 240 besides eating? Like what are you eating or how much are you eating?
I mean,
I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now that want to gain fucking, what was that, 40, 50 pounds?
Yeah. Now here's the thing, like 40, 50 pounds throughout the span of
it was a long time. Yeah, it was
a
long time, but I'm sure there's people that are on that road to like, okay, I want to get there. How do I get there?
I mean, I'd break it down into having at least at the time minimum 3, but 4 to 5 meals a day, whether that was through high school and then college too, where we had a cafeteria and you had the opportunity to go in and just
throw down
literally anything you wanted. Breakfast, always loaded up with some type of omelet. Do the whole egg. Don't do the egg white. You need that good cholesterol. Just cholesterol, period. All the veggies, all the meats in that omelet. I get a side of oatmeal, maybe even like a glass of chocolate milk, right?
I love some milk. Baby needs this milk.
Second meal, and even between that meal, I'd probably have, again, some kind of glass of whole milk with some protein powder to get some extra protein and just calories in. Granted, again, I was playing football at the time, so the amount of work that I was, got to make sure I'm being clear with this, because again, I'm describing you my meals from when I was playing football. Yeah. Right? So it's like meal 1, at least 1,500 calories. That shake, milk, protein, probably another 600 to 700. Meal 2, probably another 1,500 calories. Then another shake, then another 2 meals that could be anywhere from like 800 to 1,500 calories. So I was maxing out at least 5,000, 5,500 calories a day.
Where are you at now? 10K?
32.
32.
32.
That's like a
32 because kind of.
You've reached kind of where you want.
Well, I'm cutting it up for swim week.
Okay.
So just kind of leaning out, just a little bit of a deficit, trying to lose maybe like half a pound a week. But yeah, so I'd say like maintenance anywhere between 3,600 a day.
This is solid.
Trying to get that BBL for the Miami Swim Week.
Now let's pivot a little bit. Obviously, I'm obviously don't look like you physically, but I'm very active, right? I play basketball, play softball. Like I go to the gym 7 weeks and then take off 4 weeks. Don't mind me. It's just my routine. I don't know why I just fall off like that. But I know injuries take a huge toll on being active. Have you suffered any injuries that were, I'm not going to say life-threatening, but, where some put you in a couch for a couple months that kind of affected the way you train and the way you play sports?
I was going to say, great question.
You can say it.
I mean, you can say it.
We're all about
we're
giving.
We're gonna put a preset that's going to say that's all we do here.
Yeah, we're all about giving men their props. So, do the same upon us.
Yeah, no, of course. You're right. No, another great question because, I mean, again, kind of knocking on wood that I haven't had any injuries that have taken me out of the game for like months at a time. But I mean, when I stopped playing football was due to the fact of having yet another concussion in my career. Sure. That just was one of those moments of, it's time to look at it from a long-term perspective and not so much short-term, and step down from the game. So that was my biggest injury, because it was that season before the last game of the season where finished the game with a concussion, unfortunately, due to some cheap shot. Not gonna go.
It's always.
But did you win?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, continue.
We did win, and we won that first game in our season opener, my junior year. That also, I can't even tell you like how I got the concussion. I just took my helmet off, and like the whole left side of my face was swollen shut.
Shit.
And super sensitive to light, like all of these concussive symptoms I was having, and it was one of those like the season, like after that last game of last season, I made that promise to myself of, if you do get another concussion, you're like, you got to do what's best for you and just step down from the game. Like no matter.
Do you think you're feeling
what.
like still like any symptoms or anything? Do you still feel it at all in any way, shape, or form? Do you think?
Yes. Yeah. And the reason I like hesitate a little bit there, because part of me too is like I want to like make sure that I'm not identifying myself with these things because of my concussions. Like my concussions do not identify me. Yes, there's times that I have trouble articulating what I'm trying to say. Like I lose my train of thought. Like luckily I don't have any of these worse symptoms of like dizziness and lightheaded and like kind of getting fish tunnel vision like I used to have, which was not fun, or like sensitive to light. Living in Miami wouldn't be too ideal for that.
Fucking blue blockers on all day. Now, did you ever get like the aggressive part of like the concussion world that they say like people get like, like from the NFL, people get like aggressive or suicidal or anything like that?
Not aggressive, nor would I mean, suicidal. I mean, suicide's like a very touchy subject, but to me, I don't want to say I was. I mean, there was times where I felt like I was in a very, very, very deep hole that I felt like I couldn't get out of at the time. And to say like certain thoughts didn't cross my head. Like there was always those,
like the ideations.
Yeah. But the reaffirming thoughts, I was lucky to have. I mean, one, I was very lucky to have people in my circle that knew what I was going through and were there to talk to me, spend time with me, like family, very close friends. And then also kind of think about from like a existential standpoint of like, talking to the man above and just letting him know like I'm going through some shit, but also like watch me, like I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna get through this. Like this is another chapter in my story that's not the brightest one, but we're gonna get through it.
So you're gonna count that like your family being with you and God and everything helped you down that path out of there?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, and that's why I wanted to get to. That's why I asked you about the injury. Like I suffered an ACL and meniscus tear when I was 23, and I've never been injured. You know, basketball players usually roll your ankle. That's pretty much about it. Like ACL, I didn't know how much it affected me and how much it affected my mind and my state of mind. Like, it was terrible. Like, I cried during therapy. Like, it's basically like, you know, you have a new ligament, and the first thing they do is turn you over when your ligament is like this, and they bend your knee this way. So I cried. I was 23, crying in the fucking therapy, but I didn't know what that was doing to me mentally. And the reason why I say about the injuries is to kind of see like where your mental head and your mental space was at. This was, I mean, you're in college, you said, so you're still early 20s.
100%.
So that's something that's very difficult to kind of deal with. So I mean, Will got to it. Like, who was part of your community? How did you get over that? Because a lot of times it's like injuries suck, and they put you out for weeks, if not months, if not years. I didn't pick up a basketball after I tore my ACL for 2 years. I was traumatized because I didn't want to jump and land again and hear that pop because I suffered internally so much. It's terrible, man, honestly. Even to this day, like I tore, so my ACL is fine because I did a reconstruction, but I tore my meniscus again. That shit is just whatever. I haven't done the surgery again. It's just there. Still good. Still hoop. Yeah. So
Hey, partially torn.
meniscus?
Uh-huh.
Left one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll show you my scar after that. But, you know, again, it just, I didn't notice the toll that it was taking on me mentally, you know, and my mental health and my mental state. And I didn't have a community back then. You know, I had my mom, but I was also 23 with 3-year-old twins. So, like, you know, again, it's what I was going through in that phase and that time of my life. Like, I didn't think I would have been able to handle it much longer if I didn't start seeking some type of like outsource, some type of community, some type of support. So Jacob, I mean, look, you know, you're in Miami now. Obviously, you see the beautiful weather we have here. But I've seen also that you've competed. You know, you've competed. You've also done a little bit of modeling. Have you? I know you've competed. Like, tell us a little bit about what kind of mindset you have to put yourself in when you're competing, because I know competing is not just, hey, you're going to the gym to get a workout in. You know, competing, I feel like you have to put your body, your mental under a completely different type of stress because you're trying to reach a goal by a certain amount of time. Yeah. So share, I mean, you don't just share like the whole journey of how many times you competed, but maybe one specific one that might stand out to you of where you really put your body and your mind under a lot of stress and what that did for you, you know, what that did to your mental health and what that did for you. And hopefully you won the trophy. I mean,
Arnold. Love that question.
Arnold. No, he's like, now you're talking my language. Takes off his shirt.
So, I mean, I'd have to first kind of tie it in with the concussion question that you guys had earlier, right? So, to put a little more context into it, after I finished playing, right, there was a period of like a month and a half where the PT or the athletic trainers at the time were telling me that you could not exercise, like you had to wear shades if you're going outside, especially if there were things that were just, if there's things that irritate you, don't be near those irritating things. Loud noises, all that. So I had to go a month and a half without any form of exercise other than going on walks, which I think, not like over exaggerating, but not like saved my life. Because again, like the gym was that place
like your sanctuary,
to, like my mental health sanctuary, just as much as my physical sanctuary. And you know, going from having a team and kind of that brotherhood with everybody to then
the locker room jokes and shit,
all of it to then not having it, like all that did take a very big hit on me. And once I got cleared to start exercising, start training, like very lucky to have two really good friends that I call brothers now too, who I was roommates with. We're also very much so into lifting, into, you know, staying in shape, into bodybuilding. And there was a show, an NPC Physique show that was, I think, 6-7 months away from the date I got cleared. And it was one of those things where I was, you know, we were just having a conversation. I was like, this is exactly what I need to help me
boost you back up,
boost myself back up, lose weight in a way that I want to. Because I finished playing ball, I was like 265, 270. I was like, I don't need to be 265 anymore. Yeah. So it's like, and I love bodybuilding. Like, it's always been like a piece of my fitness journey. So why not sign up for a show and get ready for that show. So that's exactly what I did. So a 7-month prep. I mean, the mental prep is from training, your intensity of training, catching or taking down all of your metrics of training. Because again, like just like I do now with all my clients and myself, like meticulous with like the weights I'm using, the rest I'm giving myself, progressing my exercises, doing that with nutrition, and again, like sleep, just as important there too, was dialed in to another level. Yeah. I mean, a tool, a skill that one of my coaches gave me when I was still playing football, I implemented, which was just having a time chart of the whole day. Again, luckily in college at the time, like I knew when I had my classes, so worked my nutrition, my training, my sleep, my relaxation time, all around my schedule, Monday through Sunday. And it was just sticking to that to a T. Like, I think I went 98% adherence to the program for 7 months.
Bro, and it's like, it sounds easy, but it's not, dude. It's just like that one day that you just don't feel good or some shit and you miss something, and then it just fucking trickles into something else, and you're like, fuck, dude, how am I going to get back to like...
It's like 6, 7 p.m. and it's like, I don't have to go to bed for 2 hours. I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at like, I could just eat that snack. Just grab
It's
that
discipline, though. It's a discipline, you know, which you talked about earlier, the discipline, the consistency.
Yeah. So, I mean, discipline also like made things a lot easier, because it's like once I was in, not to say like a few weeks before the show, like didn't get really difficult, but once I got past that like first month, kind of like second month, things kind of did get easier, because it was, again, part of the routine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, just diving off of like having that intensity, and then also like setting that expectation with yourself and then to everyone around you, especially like, you know, like the people that I needed to let know the ones that like truly like respected my decision. Like, yo, I'm going through this. Like, I'm not drinking. I'm not going out, because, I will go out, but there are certain things that don't tempt me with.
Yeah.
Don't be like, yo, Jacob, like have a drink. Like, shut the fuck up.
Shotgun the spear.
No, like, absolutely not. So it was also just setting expectations with my social circle, with friends, family, like
set the boundaries.
Yeah, set those boundaries. And like, if I say no, I'm not being rude. Like, thank you, Mom, for dinner. I won't have any more.
Just
brings out dessert.
I'll be back in 6 months.
I didn't just like, no, thank you, but no. Like, I'll look at it. I'll chew it and
where was I wrong? It's like, where did I go wrong raising you? It's like,
seriously.
fuck.
Seriously. But yeah.
All right. Dale con otro.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, and so just to kind of let the people know, because again, we want to use this platform to also, you know, for one, welcome you to Miami on our end, you know, with our platform, but also for people to get to know you as a person, you know, not just Jacob the trainer, you know, because I'm sure they're going to start popping up and seeing you and sponsored and stuff like that. But I think a lot of it has to do with people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Is there anything on your end? Has there been anything that you've experienced in your life that you wish somebody had taught you or talked to you about before you went through it?
There are, I feel like a few things that come to mind. I think, I mean, just going off of the first thing that comes to mind is take a second to work on, or at least for me, I was going to go off of two different things, like put time and effort into your public speaking abilities. That was one. Game changer for me. Again, like someone that was used to be in front of a room and would just be like, is my face still like on?
Well, you're doing great on the podcast. You're doing great. Those classes paid off.
Yeah,
it did. To another one of just, you know, try to be the best version of yourself, and also just be genuinely interested in the conversation that you're having with the person across from you, right? Especially if it's like, if you have like good intentions around like whatever conversation with whoever you're having, like that is always like, it feels good.
It speaks volumes.
Yeah, like I'm going to listen to you and I'm just kind of going to reflect, make sure I'm hearing you right on what you're saying, and let's, you know, let's keep this conversation going. And if it's someone that doesn't, like, that's okay. Like, you don't, you're not going to be befriending everyone. Yeah. That's part of the process.
Yeah.
Especially
I've always been like, you could tell, like, when you're having a conversation, someone's just like, yeah. And it's just like, all right, bro.
Oh, that's crazy, bro. I hit you with the, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's just like, all right, cool, And it feels awkward when you're just like, all right, bro, like, I'm done with this conversation. Like, it's not going anywhere, and it's like doing it in a respectable way, but it's also like, okay, I could see that this is not going to go anywhere, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have any beef with you, but then there's people that you can tell, like, you guys are dialed into each other and having the conversation. And it's like, okay, I could feel like this is like a profound conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, so pretty much your message, if I'm understanding right, it's just be a lot more present.
Be more present.
Yeah, be more present. Which honestly, it's beautiful that you mentioned that, because I know I struggled with that years ago. Always, if I'm doing something, let me record it because I want to save it and also remember it. But also, like, there's a lot of power in just like putting this device down and just taking it all in and being present. Like you said, whether it's a conversation, whether you're in a concert, whether you're just hanging out with friends, like, be present and really give people your time, and be engaged in what you're speaking about.
And not check your Apple Watch.
I'm sorry, Will. I have kids. Okay? Like, you'll be there soon, and then I'll be bitching at you. Actually, I won't, because I understand. But anyways, but that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
If we go back to our first initial question, we're getting our gauges from a scale of 1 to 10. If I was just to be, kind of reflecting on it, I think the reason I can't, if I'm a 7.5, like, what could stop me? Like, what's holding me back from being a 9? I think it's being a little less present in some of my conversations, and I think that's also due to a little bit of a lack of sleep. That's due to a little bit of some form of stress going on that I just need to figure out. So it's like everything kind of comes full circle.
Yeah, everything plays a part in something.
Right. So it's identify the thing that you've got the most control over, find like that lowest hanging fruit, and just try to attack it. Don't just be passive around it letting control you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling this to myself and you.
Yeah, because it can also get a lot worse. So, it's beautiful. That's great. But that's all we got?
Yeah, 41.
That's 41.
I was almost 40. I was going to try to say it was like 101, 41.
41?
I was like, fuck.
It's all good. It's all good. But listen, Jake, man, we appreciate you coming by. For everybody that's listening in, for the people that are not watching but are maybe listening in, let everybody know where they can find you. Whether it's Instagram, whether it's your website. Jacob is in Miami, Florida now. As you said, he's training at Equinox. Anyone specific, or you kind of just bounce around at different ones?
No, so I'm in the Coral Gables location.
Okay.
Coral Gables Equinox. But let everybody know, if you're looking for personal training, if you're looking for any type of assessment, if you want to get into the fitness field, let everybody know where they can find you, whether it's DM, Instagram, social media, whatever. Feel free to drop your information down.
Best way to get a hold of you?
100%. I think the best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram.
Slide the DMs.
Slide into my DMs. JAKUB _Sizz, SIZZ.
Tell them Prolific sent you.
10% off your first workout.
3 weeks free. He's like, nah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But listen, we appreciate you coming by and taking the time, and we appreciate you sharing your journey. Obviously, we would love to go on for hours, just about your journey and other things. But I think we tapped into a little bit of the mental health space, which we're in. Our platform. We want to have people just like you, man. Share your story. You're new to the city, so we're looking to also grow the relationship from here moving forward. If there's anything that we can do from our platform, to help you and anything that you're looking to achieve, you can definitely count on us for that, moving forward. And
if we can be of any service to you, if you end up doing like fucking boot camps or you just need bodies to show up for whatever you're doing, man, be sure to hit us up. We're more than welcome to support you in any way.
Yeah, just support in any way. Will got a little, belly. He has a little couple beers that he wants to work on. Cardio's not working out, so we might have to just.
Hey, fuck it.
10%. Prolific. Say prolific at the door. You get 10% off.
I love that. No, thank you both, all three of you for having me. Will, Berto, Gabe, appreciate all of you.
No doubt.
Can't wait to be back on.
Yeah, man. You're always welcome. You're always welcome, man. And again, thank you for taking the time, and we'll wrap this up on episode number 41. We usually nice little another cheers. We got you in the protein shake with the extra protein in the end.
And like I said, Berto usually always says it, but we bring people on that. Let me drink because that's bad luck.
Dale.
if you cheers and you don't drink it. But, you know, we always like to just give props to the men that we bring on, you know, because I feel like, or we feel like that men aren't really told or appreciated, you know, while they're still here, you know what I mean? And we never know what battles you're going through, what we're going through. And the whole thing is to bring people such as yourself on and let you know that you are prolific, you are doing, you know, a lot of great things. And we feel like that needs to be said more often in the male culture. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just like you don't really want to give that guy the love or the support or whatever because, like, fuck him. But we're here to change that and let you know that you are prolific and we appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing it up.
And welcome to Miami, baby.
And welcome to Miami. Shotgun. No.
Yeah. Oh, man. But ladies and gentlemen, this is, again, episode number 41 with Jakub
Sizz.
I'm terrible at this. I don't know why, but thanks again for tuning in, guys. Make sure you check him out. We're going to drop all his information here. Thanks again for tuning in.
Check us out always.
And we'll see you guys in the next one, episode number 41, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Cause they thought I'd never make it. See me fall down and they celebrated. Learn how to win with no demonstration.